With this Ferrari, I'm going to use it like a prostitute. I'm going to use this Ferrari and I'm going to make it strip. I'm going to tap it. I'm going to slap it. I'm going to jump on top of it and I'm going to pound this Ferrari. And I'm going to have this Ferrari get me clients, get me attention, get me recruits. And I started pounding this Ferrari and hard after hard. And all of a sudden, people started reaching out, sending me DMs. Hey, I'm a realtor. I'm here in West Hollywood, local realtor. I want to go see you. I want to go meet you. I'm interested in the company. Loan officer started hitting me up. And all of a sudden, all this business started like coming to me. And then people, I was going to have lunch. I would drive. I would just make a U-turn and park in front across the street because there's restaurants across the street just to park the Ferrari in front. And all of a sudden now hot women were throwing their numbers and napkins at me. And they were asking me like, what do you do? Your skin is so nice. You are in great shape. What do you do? What do you do? And I'm like, damn, like. Hey guys, welcome back to Driven Couples. Here talking about, we have a very, very good episode today and people are really excited about this episode. Oh, yeah. You know who told me right now, I want the link to see it? Anna.
Oh, she's
and no, but this got her attention, so Maria was right. So guys, we do a lot of podcasts all the time, right. And we kind of run out sometimes of topics. I don't know because it's my job to find the topic and I don't know what to talk about because we spoke about everything. And sometimes it's a bit repetitive and we don't want to sound repetitive. Right. So I was thinking today and I asked my, one of my girls that's here in the company, I asked hey Maria, help me think about a topic because I asked Andrew and Anthony, they already we're always thinking about the same things because we do the same thing. So I want to get input from somebody that's in a younger age group than we are. So, Maria is, barely turned 20, I think, and she was telling me about 19, 20, 21-year-olds, what they like, and it's interesting what that age group likes, and I want to conquer all the age groups that were as many as, especially the younger ones. So the title about the how you made your first million, how you got your first Ferrari seemed catchy to her. And I said, well, let's try it. And I told my team, well, let's talk about how we made the first million because I went back and found some data. So I'm going to start with this. I don't know if you remember this, Syl, but 10 years ago, how much money do you think we were making? How much money did we make? Because 10 years ago, we were together. So 10 years ago was 2013. How much money did we make?
I honestly have no clue.
Take a guess.
10 years ago?
10 years ago, yeah. 2013. 10 years ago.
Like 300K?
No, you missed it by a year. So 10 years ago, 2013, how much money do you think we made, Andrew? 2013? 10 years ago, yeah.
10 years ago.
That year.
That year, total.
Mortgage guy, I would say probably 250,000.
100,000. So 10 years ago, if you're watching this, maybe you're making 50K, 70K, 100K. 40K, you're not that far from where we were 10 years ago. So that's how crazy it is because sometimes you complain and you bitch about, man, this year's not going good. It's horrible. I have all these problems. Life is not so full of so much shit going on. And what you have to do is think back 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and see where you were back then. And you're going to be like, man, I can't believe I used to hang out with all those fucking losers and idiots. I can't believe it. And now you're like, I'm very selective of the people that I hang out with. Man, you know what? That's why I grew so much because I surround myself now with better quality people. Right. So 10 years ago, I'm thinking, man, you know what? We had a lot of different people in our lives. So 10 years ago, we made 100K, me and Syl. And then 2014, a year later, that's when we hit 300,000. We made 300,000. 2015. Which, 2014, we made 300,000. Then 2015, we broke 500,000. 2015 was the year that we made 563,000. And then 2016, was the first year we made $1 million. 2016, I don't know if you remember this, we made 1.3 million. And that's when I was doing my full-time production as a loan officer. You were doing real estate. And then we were also making money from other loan officers that we had. So we broke 1.3 million that year, 2016. That's when we just moved across the street to our office over there.
Right.
And what's the first thing I did when I made my first $1 million? The
Bought a
first thing I
Ferrari.
did was went and got a Ferrari. But what people don't understand is I didn't make 1.3 million. I didn't make 1.3 million net. I made 1.3 million gross, meaning that I probably didn't even make anything, because when you make $1.3 million gross, you have a lot of expenses. And when you're running a company, when you start a business, you have way more expenses and liabilities and a lot of other problems that you don't have when you're a loan officer and you work for a broker. Because when you're a loan officer or a realtor and you work for a company, you don't take, you have a split, but you don't think about if you own the company, and the bigger it is, the bigger the expenses. You're not even getting an 60-40 split, 70-30 split, or whatever your split is. You're not even getting a split. Like your split is probably like 10% or 20%, or sometimes negative, because you don't keep all the money. All the money you make is to sustain the company, to grow the company. And most of the time it's just to sustain, especially in the beginning part. And in the beginning part, when you start a business, you are most of the time negative. So you're not really making money. You make money to pay bills and to grow the company and to take care of different, and then you find other problems like, compliance issues. You get fined. Let me audit. You get an audit from the Department of Real Estate. You get audited from the IRS. You don't understand how taxes work and all these things. Wait, you hire an employee, but you don't know that employees, you're supposed to pay them W-2 payroll. You're not supposed to pay assistants 1099.
Right.
And obviously, we made those mistakes. When you start, you can't afford to pay people W-2 payroll and run and apply all those things unless you have a quality mentor that can help you with that. And because it's better, if I would go back, I would have done things right from the beginning. I don't know if you agree. Even though we would have lost more money, we probably would have avoided other issues that happen in business, like lawsuits, like audits, like other sorts of problems that happen when you start growing and start building a business. So where I'm going is I made 1.3 gross, not net. So I really didn't make much money, but I went out there. But of course, it was more money than I had ever made. And we had just gotten the new office. Because if you know anything about Albert, when I make a little bit of money, I spend a little bit more than what I make. Right. And when I make a lot of money, I spend a lot of money more than what I made. So we moved into that office. We were really excited. It was a big office. You said the same thing you said when we got this office. You were saying, why did we get this big office? Like, it's too much space for just me, you, and our assistant. And me, you, and my assistant. We remember we used to have boxes as tables.
Yeah.
And we used to be in one corner of the office, and the entire space was empty. We didn't have any furniture, anything. We couldn't even afford it yet, probably. We spent so much money with the deposit to get the office.
Imagine, we thought that furniture was expensive. What about all this furniture?
I mean, this screen right here is $80,000, just the screen. So we move into that office, and then right away that year, when I got this idea in my head, and I said, I'm gonna go get I'm not gonna go get a car. I said I'm gonna go see cars, because every Friday, you guys are loan officers, realtors, and maybe you're doing solar insurances, maybe other businesses, and you work hard and you're a top producer. If you work hard and you have good ethics and core values, you're gonna make good money. But you're gonna have a lot of pressure. You're gonna have a lot of ups and downs. You're gonna have problems. The more money you make, the bigger the problems. So usually Thursdays, Fridays, maybe you're a bit more like stressed out and you just had a long week. And what do loan officers and realtors like to do? Go have drinks. So it was like a Friday, I think, or a Thursday, but I think it was a Friday. And one of my old buddies came, and I told him, come down, let's go mastermind. And if you guys know how I mastermind, I like to mastermind with good champagne. So my old buddy came down, and we got a champagne bottle, and we had a drink, and he had a champagne glass. And then we said, let's go check out some cars for inspiration. You know, like, it's been a good week, but it was like stressful and so much stuff going on. But I had a good week. I closed a few deals, and let's go celebrate and mastermind and get inspired. So we went to a dealership, the Bentley dealership, and we checked out the Bentleys.
I was pregnant with Italia.
You were pregnant with Italia,
and
yeah.
I was at Victoria's Secret when he called me that you were looking at Ferraris.
Yeah. So I go to Bentley. We don't like Bentley. We end up going to Aston Martin. Let's check out Aston Martin. So we were test driving these cars, and we finished the champagne on our way over there, the bottle. So half for me, half for him. And when you get there, like Bentley gives you more champagne because they want to get you like feeling good to sell you the car. They don't know who we are, right? They don't know if we're rich, if we're barely making it. In reality, we were broke. Like we weren't really, we couldn't afford a Bentley or a Aston, whatever. So we go to Aston Martin and we test drive. I test drive the convertible car, and then test drive it. I think it was the DB11. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it was like the DB11 convertible. Probably said it wrong. But then after that, we're like, wait a minute. Well, Bentley and Aston Martin are good, right? But they're not Lamborghini. So we're like, let's go check out the Lamborghinis, the Lambos. We go to Lamborghini and we look at the cars, and obviously it's like, woo. It's like when you see a pretty girl that's like a 7, and you're like, woo, that girl's a 7. Wow. When I used to go out in West Covina, I used to see a lot of 7s. I used to get a 7. I used to get excited, like, whoa, that's a 7. That if you went to a club in West Covina, if you went to Barranca called Spice on Barranca, West Covina, you know that when you saw a 7, that was like a 10. In West Covina, a 7 is like a 10. So I used to see it. I knew that if I was going to get lucky that night, I was going to take a 7 home. Now, Bentley and Aston Martin, they're like 7s. You know, like when you see a Lambo or a Ferrari, that's like a 10. So it's different levels. Right. So we go there and we're like, whoa, this Lambo is way different level than the 7s, which is the Aston Martin and the Bentley. We're like, that's a Lambo. And we're like looking at it. And by that time, I don't know how many drinks we were in, maybe like 6 glasses of champagne or so. And I said, you know what? I've always had a dream to get a Ferrari. Ferrari is my car. What are we doing here in Lambos? I don't even like Lambos. Like I wouldn't even take a Lambo for free. If somebody gave me a Lambo for free, the best Lambo, I wouldn't take it. I would not take a Lambo for free. If somebody gave me a Lambo for free, I would have to reject politely.
No, you wouldn't. You would have
we go to Ferrari. We end up going to Ferrari. Part of my core values, I will reject politely a Lamborghini. Those are not for me. So I went to Ferrari. We ended up in Ferrari. And then I meet this guy, Philip Wilson. You know, this guy, he sold Ty Lopez's Ferraris. He had a lot of basketball players that he helped and professional athletes, celebrities. So this guy just treats me like a regular. He treats me like a regular person, like a regular wealthy person. Gives me good customer service, and this says a lot. But this is part of my story. I think you want to add something to it, or you want me to finish?
No, I was gonna say about the quality people only, but
quality people. So you'll say it right now when I finish. So we get here, and obviously I shouldn't be getting a Ferrari when I made $1 million for the first time. This is 2016. And that $1 million is not even in the bank. You know, I made $1 million, but I don't have much money in the bank. I think I had like around $40,000 in the bank. And true story, 2016, I could probably go back and show you the bank statements and you guys can see. Right. But I made $1 million, but I have 40 grand in the bank because like I said in the beginning of this show, there's a lot of expenses that you have. But there was a big reason that I wanted to go and that I pulled the trigger. But before I get into that, I go there. He treats me like a VIP, like if I'm just a normal rich guy. And long story short, he just tells me, well, just put an app. You know, I'll do a credit check and I'll run it and I'll see what you qualify for. Maybe you don't qualify, but you could come back in in a couple of years or in a year and we'll hold your deposit. It was like a $5,000 deposit. And then once you're ready, you come back, it's going to be credited to you. And then you could get your Ferrari when you qualify. Plus you build a relationship with us. So I said, okay, cool. And I just told Syl, you know what? I applied and I was pretty fucked up at the time. And I text Syl like, hey, Syl, you know what? I just applied, but don't worry, I'm not getting the car. I'm not getting the car. I just applied. They're going to run credit, see if I qualify. You know how that goes. Sometimes you don't qualify. You get people with bad credit. They can't buy a house, but they buy later. So I said, it's a dream of mine. And I said, okay, I'm just going to apply and no biggie. And I didn't qualify. And they said, you know what? Let us see what we can do. We're going to give you a call in a few days. And I said, cool. You know, I went home a little sad because, you know, you get sad when those things happen. And I get back, me and Syl, and two days later, they called me and they tell me, hey, Albert, you know what? We were able to make it work. Exciting news. But they're asking for something big. Like they want to get, the payment's going to be like $6,000. I don't even remember the details that good, but I remember that they were asking for a lot of money and the payment was too high. And then I said, no, this doesn't make, I can't do this. Like I didn't even have that. But then what happens is they called me again later and they said, Albert, we made it work. $39,000 down payment and your payment's going to be $2,100 a month. And then I got it.
Let's go.
I got it. I don't even know if I don't remember what I told you, but I went and got, did I tell you that I was going to go get it?
I think so. I don't remember.
Because I remember I told you that if I don't get it now, I'm not going to get it later because you were pregnant with Italia. And Italia was going to be born and then I wasn't going to get it. So I don't know why I get into all these things, but I have a business. I have 40 grand in reserves. I spend the 40 grand for this Ferrari. You're pregnant. We just got a brand new big office and we just got our big condo, right. $5,000 a month for the condo, $5,500 for the office. And you're pregnant. And I just spent our last 40 grand on a Ferrari.
His dream car.
And I don't know why I do things like that, but I did it. And obviously it has paid off. But the reason why I did it, I was thinking that, you know what? Because when I started the business, it wasn't growing like I wanted it to grow. And I wasn't recruiting the way I wanted to recruit. Because I thought that because this is when we were adding ambiance and I said, I have a bright idea. I'm going to offer all the realtors 100% commission just so that we get all the realtors and we're going to get all the loans and it's going to work out. And I just thought I was a genius. And all my life till then, I had failed in business, in anything that I wanted to do, in sales. I failed over and over and over again. I remember my dad gave me like $6,000 to do this investment for a business that I was going to like sell computers, and somebody took advantage of me and scammed me. They took the $6,000. They didn't send me the computer parts, and I lost my dad $6,000. I lost my dad $6,000. And I've always tried different things. I used to sell CDs, video games. I always had all these business ideas, and all of them failed. I was a college dropout. I had a 1.8 GPA in high school. At least
you were trying.
I was ESL student. I was a special ed student before I was an ESL student. So I graduated from special ed to ESL and then to a 1.8 GPA. I was always the dumbass that always made fun. People made fun of me, and they called me the dumbass, the wetback. He's never going to do anything. They always said, Alberto nunca va a hacer nada. Alberto es un burro. And I was just a stupid kid, always. And people used to talk shit about me. And my mom, I remember she used to get stressed out and she used to be, ya se recibió tu amigo este pendejo. I was just like pinches, they kept on saying, oh, he graduated, she graduated. Oh, your cousin graduated from university in Mexico. I'm like, who cares? People in Mexico that graduate don't even make any money. So I'm like, big deal. Diplomas are stupid. So I got into real estate and I thought real estate was going to make me a lot of money. And I failed over and over again. So if you're watching this and you're not doing good, it took me that long. You know, this is 10 years ago. I was 29 years old, 30 years old. And 30, let's just say 30. So I'm 30 years old. So if you are right now 31, 29, 33, it's not going that well. You could still turn it around.
Right.
You know, so you just can't quit.
You need to get it right one time. That's it. One time. So our business wasn't growing. So that's when I said, I ran into, you probably don't know this, but I ran into an ad on the computer. I was going through Facebook or something. I ran into an ad. When?
Ty Lopez. We were in Westbourne before we moved. And I saw this program, 67 Steps from Ty Lopez. You guys know that I have a Driven Academy now. It's $67. So that's where I got that idea. 67 steps. And then Ty Lopez did a video to market with his Lamborghini in his garage. Lamborghini,
I just got a new Lamborghini, but more important than this is knowledge. And he looks at his books, marketing thing that it gets in your head. So that was my last hope as how am I going to grow this company? Because we were making $1 million, but we were going out of business, if that makes any sense. Right. Like it wasn't working out. I had a 40 grand left and I needed something to spike the business, to spike the recruiting, to spike the growth. So I said, you know what? I have a bright idea as usual. All my ideas, they never worked out. I was always a failure. And I said, I have this idea. I'm going to get this Ferrari. And it was a pre-owned Ferrari. So that's why it wasn't like a fortune, but it was $195,000. And I gave you guys the payment, $2,100 a month. That's it. And $39,000 down, which is all the money I had. But I had this idea. I said, with this Ferrari, I'm going to use it like a prostitute. I'm going to use this Ferrari and I'm going to make it strip. I'm going to tap it. I'm going to slap it. I'm going to jump on top of it. And I'm going to pound this Ferrari. And I'm going to have this Ferrari get me clients, get me attention, get me recruits. And I started pounding this Ferrari and hard after hard. And all of a sudden, people started reaching out, sending me DMs. Hey, I'm a realtor. I'm here in West Hollywood, local realtor. I want to go see you. I want to go meet you. I'm interested in the company. Loan officers started hitting me up. Right. And all of a sudden, all this business started like coming to me. And then I was going to have lunch. I would drive. I would just make a U-turn and park in front across the street because there's restaurants across the street just to park the Ferrari in front. And all of a sudden now hot women were throwing their numbers and napkins at me. And they were asking me like, what do you do? Your skin is so nice. You are in great shape. What do you do? What do you do? And I'm like, damn, like this car was literally enhancing everything that I did. And I was like magnified. And all of a sudden more money started coming. That first month I made $45,000. Because a realtor that didn't pay attention to me, as soon as I got the Ferrari, he invited me to lunch. And I said, weird, you never allowed me in your office. I always send you messages. You never answered me. You were always too busy. Now, all of a sudden, you invite me to lunch. He gives me 3 loans. Each loan makes me 15 grand average. So I made $45,000 my first month with that Ferrari, pre-owned 2011 458 Italia. I named my daughter Italia after that Ferrari. And from there on, I never looked back. And then it completely changed my life. If I wouldn't have gotten that Ferrari, we would not be here right now. So that was a moment where sometimes every idea you have is a bad idea. It's a stupid idea. It doesn't work. You're a failure and people keep laughing at you. But as long as you never quit and you keep attacking, you will never fail. A quitter one time is a quitter for life. So as long as you never quit, you cannot fail. But you can quit even when you're down to your last 2,000, last 3,000, last 40,000. You have a baby coming and you don't know what's going to happen. You can quit because I believe that God never throws anything at you that you can't handle. So that was that story. But you were going to say something, Syl, about quality people. Yeah, I have good memory now. I don't know why.
It's quality
QPO from our friend Les Brown.
Yeah, that's what he preaches, and the reason for that is because obviously we all want to make a lot of money, be happy, and work less, but that's just not the way life works, right? The people that you surround yourself with are either going to lift you higher or bring you lower. And sometimes, let's be honest, a lot of people don't really have a taste of what a great life looks like. And when you don't have that, like Albert said, whether it's mentors, whether you've been exposed to maybe a different city like I was, which was Redondo Beach. And to me, coming from a 1-bedroom 1-bath apartment, being in a 3-story townhouse and being able to visit all these beautiful homes in Redondo Beach, it was just like so eye-opening for me. And obviously watching novelas where I saw these beautiful houses and people that had maids and just pretty girls walking around not doing anything, and for me, I was like, man, I want to live like that. I want to be like that. But also it's the work ethic. So when you don't know any better, you can't really do better. But once you know better, you have to do better, right? You have to want a better life for yourself. So having good people around you is it's key. I mean, it can help you save so much time out of the equation, which is so important. And people mistaken that money's more important than time, and it's not. Time is so much more important than money is, because, you know, money, like even with money, think about it, you can't buy time. So you want to get rid of the time in between, even if it costs money. That's why people get mentors. He actually, ever since I met him, I remember you gave me the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. Remember that? Like, he's always been into self-improvement. And let's be honest, how many people in this world don't ever pick up a book? Really, after being out of high school. In high school, because we're forced to read books, right? But at your own will, how many people, really ask yourself, how many books have you read this year? And I'm not talking about novels or sci-fi, science fiction, nothing like that. I'm actually talking about books that are going to teach you how to be better, books that are going to teach you new skill sets, a different way of thinking, different points of view. You know, that's why Rich Dad Poor Dad is such an amazing book, because it gives you the point of view of a rich person and a poor person. And Robert was able to experience that from both of his parents. And a lot of people don't have this, you guys. You know, I know people that live in the same house their whole life. They live with the same people. They never move cities. They never experience different things in life. And again, this is why you got to put yourself in good places with good people. I would probably not, like, him and I have both qualities that are very good when they're combined. But him, it's like, he's like, let's go see an apartment. And I'm like, oh my God, we live like in a 1-bedroom, 1-bath right here down the street from our office. And we went to go look at, what is it called? Shoreham Towers. And I still have the pictures, and he's like, oh, and we're looking at the view, and he's like, this is it. Like,
you know, that's after I finished a bottle of champagne.
No.
You were taking a shower.
And you finished champagne while
Well, that's when I was good. I tried to be good all week, and I think it was a Thursday, because usually I can wait till a Thursday, and it was a Thursday because I'm very strict with what I eat and and how I drink. There's a science for everything, a science behind everything. So
right.
you're showering. That's when you took a year off from drinking, because I got you your boobs, and you said, if I get you if you get me boobs, I won't drink for a year.
Yeah.
So I said, deal. So it was good. So I had a sexy driver with boobs that could drive me, and I could have some fun, and then I could have more fun when we got home.
Oh my
So
God.
You were showering, and I would pop my bottle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because I love champagne, if you guys don't know, and I was looking on the MLS. I was scrolling through the MLS, and I was looking for leases because we lived in a $1,500 a month apartment
Right.
in West Hollywood, same area but more down south, and not there was a lot of apartments right there.
It was still nice.
And by Earth Cafe, by Melrose and La Cienega. So I was looking through the MLS, scrolling, and I found this place, and all I remember is the view being incredible. Like, I remember back then the most beautiful view I have ever seen, $5,000 a month. So I'm thinking, okay, we're barely getting by right now, and we're making good money, but we have a good life, but we're barely getting by. We have our Equinox membership. We take 5 trips a year, and I was so proud of myself. We take 5 trips a year, but we would get the cheapest flights, coach, cheapest rooms.
Not always.
Yeah. We weren't even flying first class. We used to fly coach.
At the beginning.
We were flying coach. Obviously, we're not gonna fly first class when we could barely afford $1,500 a month
Right.
So we were flying coach, and we were staying like in Puerto Rico, like $290, $300 a night rooms, and we did it. We would treat ourselves 5 times a year, and we thought, good life, right? So I'm doing all the math, and I'm saying, wait, what if we skip some of these trips? What if maybe we could
Right.
we don't have to drive?
He always finds
I
a
was
way.
I was looking for the formula, because if we live there, what else do we need? We don't have to go out and eat. No restaurants. We could cut the restaurants.
Yeah, right.
Because now we have a balcony there with a view. We could drink from there, save some money. Maybe Syl can cook. So I was already getting all these ideas into her. I was telling her, you could cook, you could do this, save here, save there. Maybe we could recycle
I
paper.
used to cook a lot
and-
back in the day.
And we had less responsibilities too. So I was already thinking, and I was even thinking like we don't have to go to like the beach anymore, or we don't have to go to we could forget about Nikki Beach. I used to like Nikki Beach, remember? Because we have a pool in our new place, and there's probably gonna be hot babes there in bikinis, and then we could bring a champagne bottle. So I was thinking about every single way that I can find to save, to get that, to afford that $5,000 a month payment, to have that view. And it was walking. I could walk to the gym because Equinox is a few blocks from there. So we went to see it, and I convinced you by using my sales skills. I said, let's just go see it. Let's just go see it. Like, let's just go see it for inspiration. That always works. If you ever want to convince somebody to do something,
let's just
your
go
girl,
see it.
just tell your girl, hey, let's just go check it out, just to get inspired a little bit. That's it. Like, we're not gonna get it, just to get inspired. And I don't know if you remember, 3 years ago, I told you, let's have some drinks and let's just go drive around and see houses in Beverly Hills. Boom, we move to Beverly Hills. Let's go see some houses in Bel Air. Boom, we moved to Bel Air.
Right.
And then I tell you, let's go see that $5,000 a month condo. This was back in the day before Beverly Hills or Bel Air. We end up moving in there.
Well, basically every place we go look at, I already know.
You remember that guy? Remember the African American guy that took us to a Starbucks, and we gave him a cashier's check, and then we got the keys and we went there, and then we moved in there, and the next day we flew to Hawaii. Remember that?
Yeah.
So how was that experience? And by the way, guys, look, I know you're wondering, like, well, what does a Ferrari have to do? Like, why is a Ferrari why did it change your life? Look, a Ferrari opened all the doors for me. And the first door that it opened, you were talking about mentorship, it opened Patrick Bet-David's door.
Right.
Because that Ferrari was the same Ferrari that Patrick Bet-David has in his most famous video that he has out, The Life of an Entrepreneur in 90 Seconds. That's the 458 Italia. And that's why I got that car, because that's the car that I always wanted. The one that I saw when I was 6, when I used to go paint with my dad in Beverly Hills, it was a 360 Ferrari, which is the one before the 458, before the 488. Well, the 488 came after that. Before all that same model, but before all those cars, that was the same model, the same member of the family, but the one prior to that. So the 458, I saw it in Patrick Bet-David's video. I got it. I sent him a DM and I told him, hey, I know you're in Glendale, you're local. I'm another successful young entrepreneur like you. We're both millionaires. We have the same car. Do you ever take it on the track? I'm being a little bit like, cocky and everything. Like, let's go to the same track. He answers me. He sends me a DM back and he tells me, oh, I just moved to Texas. And then from there on, we just started talking. Right. But he saw my profile. He saw that we had the same car. Anybody that has a 458, anybody that has a Ferrari is successful in some way, because you don't get a Ferrari just by not being successful.
By accident.
Now that's what it opened those doors. Then it opened doors to like Grant Cardone, and it just moved to more people. And then people started seeing me, damn, Albert has a Ferrari. He's friends with Patrick, with Grant, and boom, it took off. But I caught that trend early, and you catch trends early by taking risks, because you never know if it's going to be a trend until you test it. And sometimes that test could put you out of business, but you got to be able to have some balls and take some risks, because whenever you hit that jackpot, you're going to hit it and you're going to take off and you're never going to look back. But most people never hit that jackpot, that jackpot, because they're scared, because they don't want, because they have an insecurity of not being able to produce more income tomorrow. I've never felt that way, because I know that no matter if I lose everything today, I know I can make more money tomorrow. I know I could make more money next month. I know I could raise money, and which leads me to now I've built the most powerful relationships where I could just make a quick phone call. I have this on speed dial, and I could be like, hey buddy, can you wire me 10 million, please? Hey buddy, can you wire me 20 million, please? And you get that by building those resources and relationships,
and credibility
that you wouldn't
too.
build it. And of course, credibility is king, because once you get something, you got to keep it. Most people, they get something and they lose it. They get a Bentley and they lose it. They get a Lambo and they lose it. They get a Rolls and they lose it. They just lose it. They have it temporary because they celebrated too soon. They thought they were ballers when it was a fake economy in 2020, 2021. And that's what happens. That's what happens. It's very, the getting part is easy. The keeping part is the hardest. That the 1%ers can do. So when you've been winning for so long, for 5 years, for 10 years, for over a decade, that's how you get the credibility. And you know what? Like sometimes you're wondering, well, when am I going to get my shot? How can I get this person's respect? Keep winning at a big level. Every single year, keep winning at a bigger level. And sooner than later, these people are going to reach out and they're going to be like, hey, now I want to work with you. Hey, now I want to do this. And then guess what? Guess what you're going to say? I'm not interested anymore, buddy. I moved on to bigger things.
Yeah, what he said. But yeah, so to touch on what he just said, you know, becoming better each and every year, and obviously never stopping the hard work. You also have to get smarter as you go up. And again, that's something that you have to make sure you're very intentional about it, right? You have to make sure that it happens. How do you make sure that it happens? Again, attracting better people into your life. Being a good person is the most important, because if you're not a good person, karma always comes back, guys. Like it always does. And there are no shortcuts. Any shortcut we've ever taken, whether we knew or we didn't know that it was a shortcut, right? Like he mentioned, paying your employees the wrong way, you know, it comes back and bites you in the ass. And it's not something that you know at the beginning, right? Unless you have mentors right on from the beginning.
And in the beginning, you're sometimes trying to do it to help them. Right. Sometimes you're like, oh, you know what? He works so hard.
Right.
Let's give him some cash. Let's give him a check so that right. He doesn't have to pay taxes. Then what happens? They backstab you.
Right.
So we learn from all our mistakes, guys, and we want you to avoid making those $1 million mistakes. But sorry to interrupting you.
So yeah, you know, it's a long road. It's such a long road, and sometimes I think I'm like, will it ever get easier? And it really doesn't. It really, really, really doesn't, you know. And I told you that there was one day in particular. It might have been in between our jump from Shoreham Towers to Beverly Hills. I'm not sure, or if it was from West Hollywood to West Hollywood. But I remember that
Shoreham Towers to 10,000.
To 10, it might have been. I don't know exactly when it happened, but I remember thinking, shit. I just went to the store and I picked up all these things and I didn't look at the price, like for the first time ever. Because for me, I'm like, if I have 100 grand, I'll save 50 and I'll spend 50 for whatever it is that I'm doing. He'll spend 150. That's just his personality. So for me, I'm like, even if I have a lot of money, like I want to keep it in my bank account. And I always looked at prices. And that particular time, I was like, what the hell? I went to the store and I didn't look at it. And I don't even know how much I paid. It was the weirdest feeling. I can't explain it to you guys what that felt like. But you know what they say, if you want to buy things without looking at the price or worrying about the price, you have to be willing to work through the day without looking at the clock all day. You know, and that I think comes once you're an entrepreneur and self-employed, because think about it, you know, like me, my whole life, I just remember busting my ass, picking up every shift I could pick up. Why? Because I don't like the feeling of not having money. And for that, it's like you have to create other opportunities for yourself to be able to one day, you know, have enough money to do whatever you want and set yourself up to win, most importantly, because once you're older, you know, we have a lot of clients and I feel so bad for them. One called me the other day and I'm like, okay, I'm going to help her. I don't know how, but we're going to help her. And sometimes we put ourselves in situations, you know, she gets paid cash, reports nothing in her taxes, which is really, really bad. It's good and then it's bad. So you have to choose your good and your bad, right? And now she's at a place where she's so much older and she's like, you know, I've gave my kids money and I've done this and I've done that. She still has a good chunk of money, but the taxes aren't there for her to be able to qualify to create some passive income for her, you know. And I was telling you that she called me the other day and I just felt so bad. And one of our allos is already seeing what we can do as far as qualifying her, but I'm like, man, like, how do people end up like that? Like, you want to make sure that you never end up like that. Because at the end of the day, even if you buy, let's say, 2 investment properties, you hold on to them, one day they'll be paid off. You could rent them out. You have 4 doors. You live in one. You rent the other 3. And you're good, because if you want to rely on Social Security or the government to take care of you, that's just not how life works, guys. So, if you have to work 7 days a week, that's just what it looks like, and there's nothing wrong with having a job. Like, I never minded waitressing and picking up shifts because I wanted more tips. And that's how you become better and better and better and better, because you're willing to put in the work that it takes to become better, and more efficient, more effective. And I'm not perfect, but I try to be perfect. I try to learn, even like right now, I was telling my brother, I was like, oh my God, I don't know what the hell is wrong with me. Like, they say it's like after you have a baby, you have, what is it called? Pregnancy brain, or whatever happens after. And then I'm nursing. So your body's going through a lot of changes, hormonal changes. And I keep forgetting like things. And I'm like, I'm not used to that, because I'm used to being sharp and on top of it and on top of everything. So it's been a funny last couple of days. I just feel like I'm like slow, like stupid, because I forget so many things.
You forget like little things though.
No, they're not so little. I mean, you can't forget that you ordered a carpet for your house, and we're picking up another carpet. I'm having Wally shop for another carpet, and I'm like, oh my God, I just saw an email that I ordered a carpet. Like, how does that even
That's
happen?
a good thing to worry to. That's a good problem to have.
Right. But anyway, you guys just try to become better every day, a little bit better. Be a good person, and eventually create opportunities for yourself. If you know that the company that you work at, eventually is going to look for a certain position, which is going to make, let's say, 100 grand a year. Why wouldn't you strive so hard to become that, whatever that looks like? Because at the beginning, you're going to work way more than what you're paid for, so that one day you make the big bucks and you do less, and I don't mean less work. I mean, you're managing people to get the job done for you. So it's just, we could sit here and talk about this all day, but be willing to put in the work, because most people aren't. But also be better, become better, a better version of yourself. And it takes time. It's baby steps. Some people, they don't realize till they're like 35 that there's a better life you can create for yourself.
Yeah. So let's go with some questions. I know we have a couple questions right there. Do you see any, Andrew? I know we have Julio right there. I don't know if you could turn his camera on.
I could barely see that far. Isn't that sad? Oh, I see Mitch. Hi, Mitch.
Hey, Julio.
Hi, good. How are
One
you?
second. Let me put you on the screen. All right. So what's up, Julio? How can we help you, man?
Well, yeah, I'm so glad to hear you right now. And I'm planning to move to California, and right now living in South Dakota, Sioux Falls. It's a very cold place, and I'm planning to move to California. And so I just want your opinion about to, try the insurance industry. Do you think it's a good place to start to, reinvent myself in that industry, or you think it's better to try like a mortgage industry, or especially in this time, when the economy is not doing very well? So what's your opinion about it, please?
Are you good in sales?
Yes, I think so.
So if you're good in sales, you literally can sell anything, and it's luckily a skill you can learn. Hi. But insurance, it takes a lot of years to build a solid income with insurance, unless you have a lot of people under you. I'm not saying it's not possible. I think it might take a little longer if you need a quick return, or you need to kind of, is that your son or daughter?
Yes.
Oh, it's your son? I couldn't tell because it snuck in and snuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what would you say? I mean, I think, like car sales people make a lot of money. People that are effective in real estate and mortgage make a lot of money. But you kind of have to decide what it's going to look like and what industry you want to get into. Sales is the best way to make a ton of money.
Yeah, so I think sales is key. So if you're good in sales,
Cheers.
then you should sell real estate or mortgage because that'll make you way more money. That'll make you way more money than insurance, and I'll tell you why. I'm very close to a lot of insurance agents,
Right.
and the best of the best, they make, it takes them a decade to make the money that a
Realtor can
a
make in
realtor
year.
or loan officer can make in their first 24 months, without exaggerating, their first 2 years. So it might take an insurance agent 10 years to make $1 million. A loan officer or realtor can make $1 million the first year, the second year. So some
Wow.
in the first year, and why? Because the commissions are way bigger. The commissions are way bigger. So long term, insurance could be good because maybe you sell the company, you get a piece
Right.
of it. Maybe you build your book of business, and you get a lot of renewals that you get every year when they renew the policies. But but then again, you could make a lot of money being a realtor or a lender, a loan officer, and then you could invest that money to make more money and make more money sooner. So, and obviously I own a mortgage company and I own a real estate company, so I know those two industries very, very well. And I see with my eyes how many of these people have done the same things we've done. And it works because we are not, like I got a Ferrari, made $1 million, got the Ferrari, and I did it and it worked. But we also taught our people under us, and they've gotten their own Ferraris, their own Lamborghinis, their own McLarens, and then they've made their own $1 million. So we've taught it to them, and now they're teaching it to people under them. So that's how we've been able to grow. And then I don't think there's any better, safer investment than real estate. Because, and I don't think, and real estate is not going anywhere because we're always going to need a place to live.
Right.
So houses are never going to run out, you know, and mortgages are never going to run out because nobody, like 99% of people are always going to need financing. You're going to find those people that buy homes cash, but almost everyone's going to need financing. So mortgage and real estate is a very safe business. Now, people that say, that talk shit about mortgage or real estate is because they'll talk shit about it right now because it's a down market, it's a recession, it's a correction, it's whatever you want to call it, an adjustment. But if you look at the history of real estate and mortgage 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, you notice that prices have always gone up, a little dip, up again, a little dip, up again. So you'll never find a house to what it was 60 years ago, 30 years ago, never. Like property values are always going to stay going up, going vertical.
Right.
And when you have stocks and other things, those things go up, they go all the way up and then they go all the way down. And it doesn't matter what, like 30 years, 40 years, 20 years, they just go like that. And it's like a gamble. I don't like gambling. And then also, if you buy real estate, you could leverage. You could put a down payment and finance most of it. Stocks, you got to pay the full price. You can't get a loan for a stock. You got to pay up. You got to pay everything.
Right.
You can't leverage it. And then also real estate, besides leverage, you're also paying down your loan every month. So you're paying down your principal. You're lowering your principal every month when you're paying your mortgage payment. You get tax benefits, number 3. And then if you want to rent out your home, now you could get a passive income, rental income. If you have a 4-unit property, you could rent 3 units or all the 4 units, and now you're making more money every month. So that's passive income. That's rental income right there. And then also, I think I said 4, but there was 5. But you're passing me your pregnancy brain fog. but you get the point. Real estate appreciation is the other one. Appreciation, which I said in the beginning, that's the fifth. That's the fifth thing that I like about real estate. It appreciates over time. So you keep your property over 5 years. In 5 to 10 years, your property is gonna double in price. So that's why I say, like, instead of doing insurances, I would become a loan officer or a realtor, make $1 million, and then you buy just every year you buy a little house. Just keep it there. Buy a little house, rent it out, keep it there. Put 20% down. And you keep buying a little house, and then as you get more homes, then you could refinance, cash out money. You don't pay taxes when you refinance because you're borrowing money. You don't pay taxes when you borrow money. You pay taxes when you sell the house,
Right.
but because you make a profit. But you don't pay taxes when you borrow 100 grand, borrow 200,000 when they go up, and then you just buy more. They go up. You have a 10-year run as a realtor or loan officer. You save $10 million in the bank. You have a good life. And then you have all these properties, and then you don't have to work ever again. So I like that better than, but that's just me. But I think that kind of answers your question a little bit. I don't know if you have any follow-up question for that. Cheers.
No, I really appreciate that. You guys blew my mind, and I was trying to figure out what is the best next step in my career. I've been working here in the dairy industry for a long time, and now I'm trying to, to move to another state and trying to do something different. And, try to make a big step, in another industry, trying to explore something different.
Yeah.
And answer, and blew out my mind. And I'm glad to hear that from you guys.
Remember, if I could give you some advice, you don't try, you do. So trying is a failing formula, okay? You just have to figure out a way. Once you decide what you're going to do, you figure out a way, and then you go do it. And then you don't stop until you do it. Get it done.
And Julio, let me ask you a quick question before we wrap up here. Why do you want to move to California?
Because South Dakota is cold. It's cold.
Wait, I'm asking him a question.
He said it was cold.
I don't. Let him answer it. I'm trying to get mentorship from him. I want to learn. I want to know why you're messing this up.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Why do you want to move to California?
Well, I was hired for another company. I'm working in the dairy industry, and I started living here. I came from South America 7 years ago, and now I think we had enough with this weather. It's so cold here, so I'm planning to move to a state with a better weather. I've been thinking in Texas, but I recently was hired for a company coming from Europe, and they want to move me to California. But I thinking, to try to explore or to do something different, because, when you work for another company, you can only make us, little steps, and you cannot grow. You can. I feel like a stuck in my career, like I'm making the same. And I think I have been investing in real estate here in this area. I got. I bought a house. I built a duplex. But when I say to my friends I am planning to move to California, everybody say, no, there is the taxes are so high down there. You need to move. Yeah. And so, what's your opinion about it? If you can move to, for example, to California or Texas, what do you think is the best?
California, for sure.
Well, if I move to Texas, I might as well just die, because it's him. Yeah, no, yeah, because Texas is boring. Like Texas is. I went there I went there a few times to visit Patrick Bet-David, which he's in insurances. I think you know him, Patrick Bet-David. So I went to Texas and it was horrible. Like it gets really sticky and hot in summer. And not only that, there's nothing to do. There's no beach. It's very boring. So I didn't like it. I think I would die of sadness there. Now also, and there's a lot of retired people, older people. It's not California. California is like alive and noise. So California, yes, I think California is one of my favorite places in the world.
Right.
However, the state taxes are killer. So in the bad way. So the deadly, they're deadly. So here in California, you're gonna have to pay around 15% taxes for the state, and more or less. And if you move to Florida, you pay 0 taxes. And Florida has a beach. Florida is hot and sticky too.
Right.
So everything has pros and cons. I think California is better than Florida. I do like the tropical weather and I do like the beach, but I don't like it every single day because it gets sticky and hot and it rains a lot. In California, you have the beach, but it's cold and it's not like it's not white sand beaches. So I like that, but also if you make a lot of money, the answer is always make more money. Because if you make more money, then you just buy yourself a private jet, and then you just fly private and go to Puerto Rico every couple of months and spend some good time over there, use the beach, and then come back to California, and you have that life. But it's all about the life you want to create. Now, for us, we are moving out of California because we have to live outside of California for 1 year to avoid taxes. So, and I don't want to get too much into that because people will see this replay. When I say people, is the state. And then later on, when we're exiting and billions in the making and billions about to be made and all that, then California goes after you. So you gotta watch out what you say.
Right.
But there's a lot of tax rules, and if you get a tax expert, they'll tell you what to do, how to do it, what's best, and also more important than taxes, because we could pay taxes even if they take 50% of it, we just got to make more. And then there's also a lot of tax deductions that you can apply. So for example, we could go buy a jet, and you could now it's 85%. You could 85% bonus depreciate it. Last year it was 100%, and you could wipe out a tax bill. You could also buy a lot of real estate to wipe out tax bills. So there's a lot of ways you can pay a little bit less in taxes in California and live here and enjoy it. But one thing about California is also the government here, the rules and the guidelines and everything that the vaccines and the security, the robberies, it's not the same California that it used to be.
The weather is the best.
Yeah. So for example, like somebody like me that's kind of that I'm high profile and people know me and all that. People follow me. People follow me on social media. They're looking for me because they want to attack me. They want to steal my watches. They want to rob me and things. I've been robbed here. I've been robbed outside of my office. But it's not people that from here, it's people that come from outside. They come here because they know there's a lot of rich people here. And I had a gun pointed on my chest, gun pointed on the side, and I wasn't paying attention, which was my fault.
Right.
So I learned everything has a solution. So, and Syl was pregnant. They could have shot me.
We didn't know we were pregnant.
And it was just crazy, but there's always an answer for everything. Everything has a solution. You make more money. Now you get full-time security. Now you move to a gated community. Now you have so you add on things. But that's why I say the more successful you get better, you get smarter, and you're always going to have problems, but there's always going to be solutions. And you just got to get smarter. Life doesn't get easier. You get smarter. You get better, which makes life easier. Right. So anywhere that makes you too happy, whatever's going to make you, and obviously it's like if you're not on social media or on TV and all that, you don't have to worry about people robbing you. If you're not going to be there like showing off Ferraris and showing watches, like you don't have to worry about that. But if you are, then you have to worry about that, and then you have to make some changes. But whatever makes you too happy, go for it. And Texas, I heard it's a beautiful state. I don't like how boring it is. Syl didn't like it either.
I know, awful.
A lot of people like Texas.
But we don't, that's our, see, and this is where people that would get mad over somebody saying that. I'm like, that's just based on our experience, our personality. Like, everybody's different, right? This is our opinion, because it was like super boring. The people were super nice, though, I have to say that. Super nice. Every hotel we went to, every restaurant, very nice people. But for
a lot of older guys wanted to hook up with you. Because there's a lot of viejitos over there, like 80-year-olds, 70-year-olds. They're retired. It's a place where a lot of people retire.
Yeah, it's just something that it's not for us right now, and for us we need the craziness. Bye, wife. The life, everything. So, she said, tell her I said bye. So yeah, I don't know. Everybody's different, guys, and we're all entitled to our own opinion. Don't give other people opinions if it's not asked for. But for us, it's just not a place for us. Even Miami, I'm like, if I have to go somewhere else for whatever reason, then yes. But we love California. This is all we know, and I would never live in somewhere like that I wasn't happy. Think about it. How many summers do you have? Like, a lot of people underestimate time. Time goes by regardless. It's like you only have 18 summers with your kids. Think about that. It's not 18 years. It's 18 summers. It's crazy.
Yeah.
When you start thinking like that, your whole perspective changes, you know, and him and I are fortunate enough to always be better every single year, but because we put in the work. We take the time to pay attention, to learn, and to grow. You know, most people stay the same, and you don't want to stay the same. You want to create your dream life. That could look like making 1 million a year, and that's okay. That's okay. You know, everybody's different, you know, but people love to just talk crap about everybody. Everybody has an opinion. Instagram is like, you know, there's so many bullies and miserable people talking smack all day. I'm like, focus on your life and being better, and your life will get better, because whatever you put out into the universe, that's what you're attracting back into your life. And that's why him and I focus on growth. I'm like, whoever could keep up with us is a good person.
And
we're gonna keep
you said
with
something
us.
important yesterday. Maybe you could close with this.
What is it?
You said that when you just keep trying, you said it, and I heard it today with from Andy Frisilla.
Was it yesterday?
Probably, but you said something maybe you didn't say it like this, but when, like, me and you said that whatever that karma, something about karma, and that karma has already like made us pay back, because
Right.
you're not perfect, I'm not perfect, we did bad things in the past,
But we never screwed people. though.
I mean, maybe not that, but I don't
Right.
even remember all the bad things that I've done, but I've done a lot of bad things. And the bad things that we have done, because we're human, you said something that we already paid it back
Right.
in multiple. So now
Right.
that's why finally, after 10 years of opening our business, our first business, now it's like a lot of beautiful things are just showing up,
Right.
showing up,
Right.
showing up,
Right.
showing up.
Right.
But it's like now that we paid off all our karma, that karma got us. Now it's just beautiful.
karma.
Now it's
Now
just
it's
good
good
karma
karma.
happening. So now it's like we're just getting lucky,
Yeah.
and because we paid off all the bad things we did already.
Right.
Because none of us are perfect. I'm
None
sure
of us are
everybody has done
perfect.
something bad,
Right.
and then you got to think about that when you take shortcuts or you do bad things. Eventually, you'll have to pay back for those things.
It all catches up. It's that simple. Some people worse than others, you know, because it depends on what you've done in your lifetime. But to me, I'm like, look, be good. We all mess up. We all make mistakes. But like, I love this. I love to say this, because until you know better, you cannot do better. When you do better, it is your responsibility to do better. But if some people don't know any better, and it could be really, really bad people, that's just how they are. It's what they're used to. It's what they were brought up with, you know. But for me, I'm like, I want good karma. I want my kids to have a good life. I want my family to have a good life. Like the people that are really with us, because you'd be surprised. For us, it's been quite the year, right? Where it's been insane. And we've seen, like my grandma always says, caras vemos, corazones no conocemos. So we've seen this year, which was hard for a lot of people, the end of last year and the beginning of this year. And you see people's true colors. Once shit hits the fan, as people like to say it, you see people's true colors. The people that are really here, like for it, for you, for them, for us. And then the people that were always in it for themselves and their own best interests. And then they're just gone. And I'm like, you know what? Time tells all. Like for me, I know we're going to be good, because like he said, if we ever lost everything, we can get it all back, because we know how to do it already. And most people want the reward before they put in the work. And that's not how life works. You get what you give. That's it. You know? So
That's correct.
yeah, but you know, talk about it. I would recommend you guys talk about it, make some decisions, but decide and commit and then execute. Because most people, they take too long making a decision. I'm like, just, is it going to be a yes or a no? And that's it. Move on. Yes or no, move on. What are we doing? Okay, we're going to commit. We're going to go do it, and we'll figure it out later.
¿De dónde son? ¿De dónde son?
De
Venezuela.
Venezuela.
Oh, qué bien. Viva Venezuela. Viva toda la comunidad latina. Ey, las venezolanas están súper, ¿eh?
Este señor. Ya. No, pero háblenlo, platiquen, vean las opciones, lo que cuesta, hagan su research.
Y queremos reinventarnos y hacer, o sea, dar como que saltos más adelante,
Grandes.
porque sentimos
Sí.
que estamos estancados.
Sí.
Hemos intentado muchas cosas, varios negocios, vending machines, real estate, pero sentimos que necesitamos avanzar más, es lo que queremos, avanzar
Saltos
más.
cuánticos,
Sí.
no despacito.
Julio,
Right,
Julio,
right, right.
¿eres parte de Driven Academy o todavía no?
Sí, me inscribí esta mañana.
Qué bien.
Quería saber cuándo es el evento en vivo, quiero conocerlo, quiero ir para allá.
Abril 1, en como 2 semanas. ¿Se vienen para Los Ángeles?
Sí, ¿dónde le consigo información?
Adentro de la
En la
academia, ahí te puedes registrar va a decir Abril 1, registration para Driven Mastermind. Ahí te vas a meter, te va a pedir tu ID y tu nombre y ahí te registras.
Right.
Y nos
Ok.
vemos.
Perfecto, muchas gracias.
Bueno, hasta luego. Bye.
Ay, ya.
Bye. Oh, there's
All right, guys. Bye. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Next week we'll do this in Spanish.
yes.
So tune in next week if you speak Spanish, and then we'll see you guys very, very soon. Much love, and go kill it. Make money.
Bye.
Guys, if you made it this far, I have an exclusive mastermind that I want you to join. Go to drivenacademy.com and subscribe to my exclusive mastermind where we're gonna meet in person every month at my workshop, and you get more perks. All you gotta do is go to the link below and sign up. I'll see you there.